Om Namo Narayanaya, welcome back. We are on part 2 of the Yoga Sutra, reading the second half of it, starting with verse 26. Thank you for joining me in this reading. So here we go, diving right in. The means of attaining cessation is the unceasing vision of discernment. For one with this unceasing vision of discernment, there arises in the last stage mystical insight which is sevenfold. When the limbs of yoga are practiced, impurities are destroyed, and radiant wisdom manifests, leading up to the vision of discernment. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi are the 8 limbs of yoga. Non-injury, truthfulness, non-stealing, divine conduct, and non-covetousness are the yamas. These are valid in all spheres, irrespective of one's class, place, time, or circumstance, and constitute the great vow. Purity, contentment, austerity, self-study, and devotion to Ishvara are the niyamas. For the repelling of unwholesome deliberation, one should cultivate the opposite. Unwholesome deliberations, such as harming someone and so forth, whether done, caused to be done, or approved, whether arising from greed, anger, or infatuation, whether modest, medium, or extreme, find their unending fruition in ignorance and sorrow. This is why one must cultivate their opposite. When a yogi is established in non-injury, all enmity is abandoned in his presence. When a yogi is established in truthfulness, he ensures the fruition of actions. When a yogi is established in non-stealing, all jewels appear for him. When a yogi is established in divine conduct, great vitality is acquired. When a yogi is steadfast in non-covetousness, knowledge comes of the wherefore of his birth. Through purity, one develops a distaste for one's body and for physical contact with others. Furthermore, purity of the buddhi, one-pointedness, mastery of the sense organs, and the capability of Atma Darshana are achieved. Through contentment, unsurpassed joy is gained. Through austerity, due to the removal of impurities, perfection of the body and sense organs is gained. Through self-study, a connection is established with one's chosen deity. Through devotion to Ishvara, samadhi is attained. Asana should be steady and comfortable. Such posture can be obtained by the relaxation of effort and samapati upon the infinite. Thence comes imperturbation by the pairs of opposites. When this is achieved, pranayama follows, which consists of the regulation of inhalation and exhalation. In pranayama, the movements of breath are external, internal, and restrained. These are drawn out and subtle in accordance to place, time, and number. The pranayama, which transcends the external and internal sphere, is the 4th. Thence the covering of the inner light disappears, and the fitness of the mind for dharma is gained. Pratyahara is the imitation, as it were, of the mind abiding in its essential nature on the part of the sense organs disuniting themselves from their objects. Thence results supreme self-control over the sense organs. Thus ends part 2. That final line, thence results supreme self-control over the sense organs. That's kind of what we're going for here with all this. And from that, we become more in control of ourselves and more in line with God. And when we're more in line with God, I like to think we become a better tool for God to use. If you are a carpenter and you want to make something and you need a saw, do you go for the rusty old saw with, teeth broken off that won't cut? Or do you go for the nice, sharpened saw. It may not even be a new saw, but it's nice and ready to go. Well, you're going to go for that new one because the other one's not going to work at all. And you may even hurt yourself. And you're just going to waste your time. So I like to think of all of us as a saw. Are we a saw that keeps ourselves sharp and be ready to be used? Or are we just a dull thing hanging up on the wall? That's really how I view these things. If we're a good saw, God can use us. The Lord, Ishvara, or Shiva, or Vishnu, whoever, whatever name we choose, the Lord can use us. But also it brings us closer and helps us achieve that state of enlightenment, that union with God. Obviously the saw can't find union with the carpenter, so that's where my example just a little bit falls apart. But I think you know where I'm going. And yoga, as described here, Kriya Yoga, is one approach to that. There's other approaches. There's Bhakti of the Vaishnava path. There's also the Shakti path. So this is just one approach. But the end result for all these approaches is being ourselves, being in line with God, coming closer to God. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about for me. And, I meet a yoga teacher who doesn't believe in God, and I'm just like, I get angsty, because that's not what it's about for me. And I try not to talk about that too much on this channel. It's a very hot topic. Maybe you're here because you're one of those yoga people, to which I ask you, why are you not interested in learning about God? Do you not believe in God? Do you have no experience with God? Do you know the Hindu path? Or do you only know the Christian path or the Jewish path or something? Because this is an amazing path, this Hinduism. It's unbelievable. And I always questioned God growing up. I grew up in I like to say, a devout atheist household. God was really just a myth. And the Bible for me was, whatever. Judaism I found really interesting historically and culturally. But all this was just blah, until I discovered Hinduism, and then I said, oh, there is a God. And it does exist. And my life was changed. That's all I'm going to say on this particular bit. And we'll start part 3 in the next video. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.